Geometry students to the homework help video, lesson 2.4. Here's the problems right here. You should have your book open to this page, and let's go ahead and get started right away. Let's start off looking at numbers 9, 11, and 13. They want us to look at this diagram right here. I'm circling it with my pen, and they want us to state whether these angles are vertical angles or linear pairs or neither. Okay, so here we go. Number 9, they want us to look at angles 5 and 6. So here's 5 and here's 6. Now I'm going to highlight 5 for you in blue. Here's angle 5. Watch, here's the blue. Here's the blue. And then here's angle 6 in green. I'm going to come down the same line right here, right beside the blue, and then up here like this. Now if you're thinking those are a linear pair, you're wrong. And let me tell you why. A linear pair is when you have a straight line and then only one ray coming off, and you have an angle here and an angle here. That's a linear pair. Well, students, look, here's my straight line right here. There's my straight line. I've got two rays coming off. You're only going to have a linear pair when one ray is coming off and those two angles are side by side. Now, one of the choices here is not adjacent angles, but angles 5 and 6 are adjacent. I mean, they're sharing a side, they're sharing a vertex, but they're not a linear pair. They're not vertical. No, I hope you didn't make that mistake. Vertical is really easy to see. I mean, vertical is when you have two lines intersect, and they're the angles right across from each other. So those two are vertical angles, or these two angles here are vertical angles. So 5 and 6 are not a linear pair, and they're not a vertical angle, so the answer to 9 is neither. All right, number 11, they want us to compare angles 5 and 8. So let's find these angles. Now be careful again. Look everything through. Here's 5 and here's 8. Now they look like they could be vertical, and they might be. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color this line that makes up part of angle 5 and comes straight across. And then I'm going to color this line here that makes up angle 5 and comes down and makes up angle 8. Okay? Now with my white marker, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this line here for a second. Pretend it's not even there. And now look what you're left over with. You have two green lines that are intersecting, and angles 5 and 8 are definitely vertical angles. See the green line? See the green line right there? It's like a line coming down. Sorry about that. Let me switch. It's like a line coming down and a line going straight across. And it should be a little longer. And there's 5 and there's 8. They're definitely vertical angles. So the answer to 11 is VA. Vertical angles. Now look at angles 8 and 9. 8. Let's go ahead and erase this so it's not so sloppy. 8 and 9. Now that's a linear pair. Look, students, I have a straight line with how many rays coming off of it? 1. It looks like this. Here's your straight line with a ray coming off of it. Here's angle 8. Here's angle 9. That's definitely a linear pair. Definitely. Okay, let's move on to number 15. Now, in number 15, they want us to find the measurement of angle 1. And I know I have the answer right here, and I don't care. I used to bleep that out. I used to go like this and then put a circle and a circle on it. I don't do that anymore. You're going to see the answer anyways. And if you just copy answers down, you're hurting yourself. So notice we have a linear pair. Here's, whoa, did not want that. Sorry about that. Pull that back, go over. Here's my straight line. Here's my ray coming off of it. We have a postulate or a theorem, I forget which, that says linear pairs are supplementary. So I'm going to take 180 degrees and subtract 37. And when I do that, I'll get 143. So angle 1 has to be 143. And that makes sense. If you add those two together, you'll get 180. All right, number 17, the exact same thing. Notice right here I have a straight line with a ray coming off of it. These two are linear pairs, and linear pairs are always supplementary. So 180 minus 136, that would give me a 44. So the answer to angle 1 right here is 44 degrees. If you add those two together, you'll get 180. Number 19, angles 3 and 4 are a linear pair. Angle 4 measures 124. Find angle 3. Well, again, I know it's redundant, but we're going to keep doing this over and over into your heads to make sure you know it. Linear pairs are always supplementary. So I'm going to take 180 and minus 124 degrees, and I will get 56 degrees. 56 degrees. And so the measure of angle 3 equals 56 degrees. If you add 56 to 124, you will get 180. Number 21, we're going to look now at vertical angles, it looks like to me. Notice we have a line here and a line here, and these angles are straight across from each other, so vertical angles are always congruent. Vertical angles are always congruent, so the measure of angle 1 equals 160 degrees because it's congruent to this angle here. Okay, good. Now we're going to have a little bit more fun. They're going to kind of mix it together now. In number 23, they're telling you, I believe we're saying true and false. Yes, true or false. My book's not open, but yours should be. I think it says if the measure of angle 1 equals 40 degrees, so there's my 40 degrees, then the measure of angle 2 has to equal 140. Now students, that's obviously false. I mean, first of all, you've got to ask yourself this question. Are those two angles linear pairs, or are those two angles vertical angles? Let's see. Here's my line. Here's my other line right here. Okay. They're across from each other, so they're vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So if this angle is 40, then this angle has to be 40 right here, not 140. So this is false. All right, let's take a look at number 25. Number 25. Angles 1 and 4 are a linear pair. Well, here's angle 1, here's angle 4. I've got a straight line with one ray coming off of it. These two angles are definitely a linear pair. All right, angles 1 and 4 are vertical angles. Well, that can't be, folks. We just established the fact that angles 1 and 4 are a linear pair. Now, angles 1 and 2 are vertical angles. Angles 4 and 3 are vertical angles. But angles 1 and 4 are not vertical angles. That's false. Okay, moving on to number 29. Now in number 29, they want us to find the measure of angles 1, 2, and 3. Measure of angle 1, measure of angle 2, measure of angle 3. Well, students, we have two lines that are intersecting. Here's the first line. Here's the second line. So we know we're going to have either vertical angles or linear pairs. So first of all, let's do the easy stuff. 82 degrees and angle 2. They're vertical angles, so we know angle 2 is 82 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and go like this, and I'm going to take this, cross that off. I'm going to put 82 degrees. Now, here's a straight line, students. Here's a ray coming off of it. I know these two angles here are a linear pair, which means they're supplementary. All right? So, that means I can take 180 degrees and subtract 82 and get 98. So, angle 1 has to be 98 degrees. Now, vertical angles, these two angles right here are vertical angles, so if this is 98 degrees, then this also has to be 98 degrees, angle number 3. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Guys, exact same thing. Here we go. I mean, I'm just going to put them underneath here to save time. Let's start with angle 2. Angle 2 would have to be 55 degrees. Hopefully you see that, because these two angles are vertical angles, and so because they're vertical, angle 2 has to be 55 degrees. Now, see this straight line right here? See this ray coming off of it? This angle and this angle are what we call linear pairs. They're linear pairs, thus they're supplementary. So I'm going to take 180 and subtract 55 degrees, and I'm going to get 125. So this angle right here has to be 125, and that means angle 1, their vertical angles, has to be 125. So angle 1, 125 degrees. Angle 3, 125 degrees. Moving on to number 33. Again, this is really redundant, exact same thing. This is 140 degrees, this is vertical angle, so angle number 2 has to be 140 degrees. Notice how I have a straight line here and a ray coming off of it. So these two angles here are called linear pairs. That means they're supplementary. They're equal to 180, so I'm going to take 180 minus 140. Obviously, I will get 40. So the measure of angle 3 has to be 40 degrees. Now think about that, students. If this is 40 degrees right here, we know these two angles are vertical, so angle 1 also has to be 40 degrees. Okay, hope that helps. Moving on now to number 38. Now this problem here is going to be pretty difficult. This is definitely a higher level thinking problem, but it's good for you guys to have some of these, so please pay close attention and let me help you. First of all, instead of writing the answers over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I usually would. I'm just going to do this today. See angle 60? Let's start with 60. See 60 right here? Watch what I do. There's angle 60 degrees. I'm going to take this ray from 60, I'm going to extend it all the way to here, okay? And I'm going to take this ray from 60, and I'm going to extend it all the way down. And when I do that, you know what it allows me to see? It allows me to see the vertical angles a lot easier. So angle 60 and angle 3 are vertical, so angle 3 has to be 60 degrees. See, a lot of times that's hard for students to see. They think maybe 60 and 55 are vertical or something like that. But this angle right here would be 60 degrees. Now, see 55? I'm going to highlight the two rays. There's that ray, and there's that ray. Now, take this ray right here from 55 degrees and extend it. Keep going with it. And then this ray from 55, keep going with it. And now you see this highlighted angle right here. Those two angles are vertical angles. So since they're vertical angles, then angle 1 and the other angle across from it, 55 degrees, are congruent because vertical angles are always congruent. So this will be 55 degrees. Now, I want to come down here and show you something. I want to draw a straight line and draw a ray coming off and a ray coming off. Now, do you see this straight line right here, students? That's called a straight angle. Its worth, or its angle measurement, is 180 degrees. Now, if I started here and measured that whole angle, I would get 180 degrees. Okay? So what that basically tells me is, let's say I had 80 here and 40 here, then this would have to be 60, because 80 plus 40 plus 60 is 180. All three of these angles would have to add up to 180 because they rest on a straight angle. Well, let's apply that to this problem up here. Look at my straight line right here. That straight line, all three of these angles right here have to add up to 180 because they're on a straight line. So I have 60 plus 55, these two angles here, so 60 plus 55 would give me 115. Now, I'm going to subtract 115 from 180, and I should get 65 degrees. So angle 2 right here has to be 65. And how do I know that? Because 65 plus 55 plus 60 is 180. You might say, well, Mr. Earhart, I used this line. I'm going to take this angle off real quick. Watch this. Well, Mr. Earhart, I used this straight line here, and I added up 50 plus 60. Students, you'll still get the exact same answer. It doesn't matter. You'll get the exact same answer. So this right here would still be 65 degrees. Now, see this 65 degrees? I'm going to highlight the rays. There's that ray, and there's that ray. That makes up the 65 degrees. Now I'm going to extend this ray down here. I'm going to extend this ray this way, and look what angle is highlighted. Angle 4 is highlighted, and that means these two angles are vertical angles, so angle 4 would have to be 65 degrees. Now, I didn't write all of that over here. You can do that on your own, but that's how you would do that problem. Hopefully that's a help. That's a pretty difficult problem. Okay, let's finish up with these 10 problems here. Let me quickly grab a drink of water here. Okay, here we go. 41. Angle BGC. Let's find that angle. B down to G down to C up to C. There's that angle. Is congruent to what angle? Well, I'm looking for a vertical angle because vertical angles are congruent. So I'm going to take this ray that makes up that angle. I'm going to extend it. There we go. And now I'm going to take this ray and I'm going to extend it. And look at that. We found the vertical angle. It's right here. So it's angle EGF, or FGE, however you want to say it. So angle FGE. All right. Now, let's take a look at number 42. Angle AGB is congruent to what? So here's A, here's G, and there's B. Okay, there's the angle. Let's extend the rays. See this ray? Let's extend it all the way to here. See this ray? Let's extend it all the way down to here. And there's our vertical angle right here. So it's angle DGE or EGD. It doesn't matter. So angle EGD. Very good. So we're doing pretty well on these so far. Now, angle AGC is congruent to what angle? Well, AGC. So here's A. Then I hit G and I go up to C. Now this can be confusing, so you better use the method that I've taught you, okay? Now here's the angle, A, G, there's the vertex, and then C. Now I've taught you when you're trying to find vertical angles to extend the rays. So here's one ray, right here, and we're going to extend it like you're supposed to, okay? And now see this ray right here? We're going to extend it down to here. And now I think you can see that really big angle. Here's the angle A. Look carefully. Let me get rid of that red. Use a different color. Angles. Here it is. A, G, C. So this big angle right here. And angle F, G, D. This big angle right here. They are definitely vertical angles. Now that one's not easy to see, but that's why I'm teaching you guys to draw or to extend the rays. So angle FGD, angle FGD. All right, let's take a look at number 44. What is a congruent angle to CGE? So CGE. So here's C, and I'll go down to G, and then down to E. So let's extend those rays. So this ray will extend this way, and this ray here will extend up this way. And now I think we can see it. I'm going to change colors here. This angle right here is vertical angles with this angle right here, BGF. BGF. So angle BGF. Remember, if they're vertical angles, then they're congruent. And that's why every time one of these problems right here asked for a congruent angle, we found the vertical angle, because vertical angles are congruent. All right, now they want us to find the measure of AGF. Well, here's A. Let's go to G, and then we'll go over to F. Okay, now I think AGF is going to be vertical with angle 22 degrees, which means they'll be congruent. But let's see. Let's take AGF. Let's extend the ray, and let's extend the ray, and look at that. They're vertical angles. So if this angle here is 22 degrees, then this angle right here, AGF, this angle here, must also be 22 degrees, because they are vertical angles. Now I'm going to do something I want to encourage you to, if you do this in your book, write really, really small and erase it when you're done. But I'm going to go ahead and put 22 degrees, so I think we're going to need that later. I think it'll help us. Okay, what's the measure of DGE? So I'm going to start with D, go to G, and then down to E. Now I think we're going to have another vertical angle. Let's see. I'm going to put a question mark here. We're trying to find the measure of that angle. Let's take this ray, and let's extend it this way. Now let's take this ray and extend it this way. And look at that. This angle here is vertical to this. They're vertical angles, so they're congruent. So now I know that this angle, angle DGE, is going to be 50 degrees. Why I put 55, I don't know. 50 degrees, just like this angle here. So 50 degrees. All right, angle CGE. C, G, and E. Now, please look at this, students. Would you watch this, please? They want us to find the measurement of this whole angle right here. Now, it looks like to me this whole angle is made up of two angles, an angle here and an angle here. This one's 22 degrees, and this one is 50 degrees. So if I add 22 plus 50, I should then get the whole angle. And so that's what I'm going to have to do. So 22 plus 50 would be 72 degrees. Now let's find the measure of angle. Actually, I should have taken some more off. Hold on one second. There we go. 72 degrees. Now let's find the measure of angle BGC. So B, G, and then up to C. Well, students, think of the last problem we just went over. Here's a straight line. Do you see it? See that straight line? And that straight line has two rays coming off of it, just like this. Okay? So if I have a straight line, that means this angle plus this angle plus this angle have to add up to 180. They have to. So I already have 50 and 22. Add those together and you get 72. Now I'm going to take that 72 and I'm going to subtract it from 180 degrees. So 180 minus 72. And we'll get 108 degrees. So this angle right here is 108 degrees. All right, let's take a look now at number 49. It says find the measure of DGF. DGF. So D, then I hit G, then I go down to F. Okay? Now, let's really think this through here. All right? First of all, would you please watch this, students? Angle DGF is really made up of two angles. If I could take this angle here, I'll put one dot, and this angle here, I'll put two dots. If I could add those two angles together, I'd have the whole angle all the way across. Well, the problem with that is I know this angle is 50, but I don't know what this angle here is. It's a question mark. Or do I know? I think I do. Do you see this angle right here? Well, it's vertical with this angle right here. And we know what that means. Vertical angles are congruent. So if this angle up here is 108, then that means this angle right here is also 108. They're vertical angles. Now we can add those two angles together, 108 plus 50, and we will get 158 degrees. All right? And now, moving on to the last angle, AGD. So A, what's a straight angle, guys? Look. A to G to D. It's a straight angle. AGD. And straight angles always equal what? Yep, that's right, 180 degrees. I hope this has been a help to you. Please continue to study and work hard and don't get discouraged. Or if you're doing really well, don't get the big head and get prideful, but help other students in the class and continue to work hard yourself.